What's up, filmmakers? It's Justin Romine here. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my editing breakdown of my recent commercial I filmed with Park Place, their Mercedes AMG commercial featuring Trevon Diggs. Well, if y'all don't know, he's going to be in the NFL draft this year, and he's a cornerback coming from Alabama.
Getting out of bed every morning, I think about being better than I was yesterday, and that day being better than the day before that. It all starts with your preparation. If you're not prepared, you're not going to be able to get the job done, and you're not going to be able to perform at a high level. So therefore, your performance isn't going to be so high. High performance in my training means being elite in everything that you do. When I'm training, I just like to think about, what's going on right now. I don't like to think about nothing else. I just like to focus and, give my 100%, just give my best. And, that's being elite to me.
So it's super cool working with Park Place and Trevon and filming this commercial. So I kind of wanted to give y'all a breakdown of how I filmed it, how I edited it. Mainly this is going to be an editing tutorial, but you will have to know some background information about how I filmed it to understand how the edit will work. So a little background about this commercial. Started off with me talking to the marketing person with Park Place Dealerships, which they're a pretty big name luxury car dealer here in Texas. Obviously the marketing person had some type of say about what the video was going to be about and whatnot, but she kind of let me take the reins as far as the creativity goes. But the commercial was always going to be a Mercedes commercial. Now along with that is they wanted to do a commercial featuring one of their ambassadors that they had lent a car out to, which happened to be Trevon Diggs. And they wanted to focus the commercial around high performance people need high performance vehicles, like high performance in all areas of your life. So before filming, I kind of ran some ideas through my head, like, all right, what do I want the story to be? How do I want this commercial to look? And I also did some background research on Mercedes commercials because I had never done one like this before, to kind of see the different shots, the style of editing. And as far as the filming went, the day of production, what we did is we filmed all the B-roll first. There wasn't any real dialogue. And then we did a voiceover at the very last, like in a Mercedes car. So this wasn't a 2-day shoot. This was like a 5 to 6 hour shoot that I had to crunch in there. So could this commercial have looked better? Absolutely. If I had more time, more planning, and many other factors, it could have looked a lot better. But you gotta work with the constraints that you have and make the most of them. And then as far as when I was actually shooting, what I did is I recruited 2 people, Kostas, Lazanas, and Matthew Grammer, to help with the shoot. Kostas actually owns a Greek restaurant in Rowlett, and I've kind of mentored him like the past 2 years. He bought a 5D Mark IV, and I've kind of coached him up on how to film, how to edit, and all that. And then Matthew Grammer I met actually through Instagram. He has some pretty cool content here in the DFW area. So they both came out and assisted with the shoot. Kostas did mainly filming behind the scenes. Matthew did day of, kind of producing, making sure we're on track. And he also held the boom for me because I did want to get some really crispy audio to really make the sound design on this shoot like awesome. All right, so now on the editing, what I'm gonna do is talk you through my process of how I thought about starting the edit and then how it actually progressed from there. How you think something's gonna look and then how it actually turns out evolves quite a bit during the editing of this type of commercial, unless you have something really storyboarded out. So I always start with the story. So over here, I have my HDTX, I have all the audio files here, and kind of the last one is gonna be like his dialogue. So what we did is we had a list of interview questions mainly developed by Kat, who is my Park Place dealership point of contact. And she asked him the questions, and then I held the mic right up next to him, my Rode NTG3, which I'm using right now. I held the mic up and he answered the questions. Now, I did prompt him a little bit more to get some of the responses I was looking for, but overall, his answers were kind of all over the place, and I had to make sense of what the story was gonna be for this commercial. So once I got that all figured out, I laid that on my timeline, and then it was, all right, what B-roll can I put on this that's gonna support what he's saying? And in this commercial, we had 3 different locations. 1 is the apartment and then getting in the car from the apartment. 2 is actually him training at the Michael Johnson Performance Center, which is in the suburb of Dallas. And then 3 was gonna be in off-country, like back road in a suburb of Dallas as well. Not a whole lot of traffic. And that's where we were gonna film all like the driving shots and the drone shots. So in all reality, this video could be much longer than I'm probably gonna make it. I'm gonna try to fly through this, but I'm also gonna try to answer the big name questions about my thought process of how I did this edit and how it all came together in that flow. So the big thing here, as I'm going through all my footage, I separated everything in audio files. I shot this all in the Canon 1DX Mark II. Then I have my audio files, and then I have my sound design files. If you pull up the bin, I always use the preview thumbnail so I can see what I'm working with. Then I arrange them by name, because if you do that, they're gonna be in order that you filmed them. So I'd basically take it shot by shot, selecting it, figuring out like, all right, what is this shot all about? When I was filming, I wanted to get as many different varieties of angles so that when I get into the edit, I have a lot to work with. So wide, medium, tight, all those different camera shots. So I go through here, I basically am just picking the best of the best shots. I'm basically going through each clip, trying to find these little golden nuggets, trying to figure out what's gonna make the cut, what's not gonna make the cut. Because all this is basically the same. I had him talk me through like, all right, what do you do when you're getting ready? I'm like, all right, well, sit on this couch. All right, start looking off in the abyss, like thinking about high performance and thinking about the training that you're about to do. And then we just had him like do random stuff, like he put on his little bracelet thing that he always wears. I'm not sure of that significance, but it's important because he always wears it. And then we got him like putting on his shoes, then putting on his hoodie. So all these little steps, I basically just took best of the best shots here, as you can see going through the edit, cutting between him getting ready, his face, his body, the area that he's in. And then all along I had this idea of doing this kind of like slow, inspiring start to the video, but then I also wanted to like contrast that with some of like the flashback moments of him actually training and driving the car, just to keep like the viewer engaged and kind of create that hype. I really didn't know what that would look like until I got into the edit. So what I did for those sections is, so I cut the music, I cut the dialogue. These are strictly gonna be like flashback moments, and I wanted to take the most action, high energy shots that I had from filming and place those on my timeline, but do it in a way that was like very fast cuts. So you can see here I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shots in like a 2-second time period. Then you pair that with some really good sound design. That's another valid point to make, is when I'm editing a video like this, I do the dialogue, whatever the story is first, then I do the B-roll, then I do the sound design on the entire thing, and then I do the color grading on the entire thing. A blanket color grade and an adjustment layer, and then I go through and grade each clip individually to color correct and grade it depending on what each individual clip needs. So for these quick cuts, I wanted to add a bunch of like risers and like impact hits, and I actually added some like college football sounds of people beating on the bleachers just to give that extra little juice. And then after those 2 seconds go by, boom, right back into him getting ready for the day, kind of trying to head out the door. And then this clip right here was my transition clip. I remember thinking that I wanted to film this because I'd be able to use it as a kind of a cool transition, him kind of approaching the camera and it almost going black right here. And then I cut right to his black on his pants while he's actually training. And you can see Kostas right there in the background. That's pretty funny. But again, same thing. I did 2 of those quick cuts. This one after the catch, I actually have this clip of him that I remember filming where he's kind of bent over, and it's that moment where he's like, whew, he's really exhausted, and then he's gonna like look up and just like think about life. I don't know, that's what I told him to think about. And so as he's looking up, it cuts to a tighter shot of him, and you can really see that look of determination like in his eyes. And then right after that, I decided to do a music change. The big reason for that is, 1, a mood change, because he's actually heading out the door. I wanted something more upbeat, kind of to keep the commercial moving. But then on another note, it would also help keep the viewer engaged. So if it's slow and inspiring the whole time, for like a full minute-long commercial, it's gonna be a little bit much. You can make it work as long as there's enough story going on. But for this, I wanted a mood shift. right at like the 30-second mark, which is exactly where this is. And it just so worked out with the dialogue that this flowed really well. So then I had some gimbal shots of him actually coming down the steps, some of his feet walking. I just wanted to show a lot of different angles, but there was also a lot I cut out because this gimbal shot, we filmed that probably 5 times, and I filmed it from different angles, and I actually followed him further, like almost to the car. But then you want to throw in details like his feet walking, like him actually holding the keys. But then, I don't know if you caught this error, but here he's not actually holding the bag. That was definitely a mistake on my end of him not holding the bag, but not a whole lot of people caught it, so oh well, it's over and done. Then I wanted this profile shot of him getting in the car. Again, we just filmed this tons of times to get as many variety of angles and different shots to really make the viewer feel like they're present. Then of course you wanted to highlight the actual Mercedes logo, the headlight of the car turning on with the AMG right there. So after that, it just came down to increasing the tempo of the music, making sure the song selection that I picked, which was, I believe, on Music Bed, that it had enough energy and it almost had like a build to it. And I did that by selecting the right song, but then also cutting the song a little bit to have a transition to where it's kind of towards the end of the song. I do this a lot with songs that I select. I select the song that has like a build, and so overall it's a good quality song. But if it doesn't line up exactly like I need to, I crop the song and splice them together with a constant power, which you can find over in your effects panel. And you have to line this up just right and then use the constant power, but I typically try to use the end of the song to equal the end of the video. And that doesn't always work out perfectly, so that's why editing the music to go with your video is so critical. So as far as editing from there, I just picked the best of the best warm-up shots, catching the football, training, flashing the Mercedes logo here and there. Just a lot of different contrasting shots going back to back. Switching between him driving the Mercedes to him training, to him inside the car, to him outside the car. Because at this point, there's basically 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds of B-roll before the commercial's ending. So it's all about just picking the right shot to go with what you're trying to portray, which in this case is high performance. For a lot of the drone shots, to add an extra effect to it, I did do some zoom in, zoom out, just keyframing in my effects controls. And so I ended this video with a lot of like quick cuts and a lot of action scenes. And if there wasn't action in the scene, I added the zoom in again. And I definitely wanted to end the commercial with Trevon actually running after a football. And then I did a color matte that I added my own effect, which is a fly in from the bottom. It's a preset that I custom created, slides in, and then the logos. I did the logos in After Effects so it'd have a nice little blur, and I can mask out kind of that center point, and lined everything up to be perfectly to the end of the song, the music, and enough like reverb to really make it feel like epic for the ending. So anyways, y'all, that's my basics of how I edited this video and how everything kind of worked out. It's really cool to see how we started from nothing. We started with this idea, this vision of what the commercial would look like, and then between filming and editing and really putting all this together and constructing and creating to see how it actually came out. But yeah, if you do have any further questions about specific things that I did to edit this video, please drop me a comment down below. I'll definitely do my best to get back to you and maybe answer you in like the next video. But until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great day.